This is a reading video for Durarara episode 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, a 5-episode reaction. Click in the link in the description below to go watch my reaction and then come back here to see my full thoughts, these theories about these episodes and what's to come. A lot happened, a lot of theorizing going to happen, so prepare for that and everything. So, yeah, click away now or be spoiled as to what happened in these episodes. Okay, so joining me, as always, is well, not always, I guess sometimes stuff misses, which is fine. Oh gosh, everything's going wrong. Hold on, have to select that. There we go, and just scale it down a little bit. There we go. It has, yes. Yeah, so it has been, let's see, I recorded it, when did I record it? I recorded it, I think around 1:30. I think it's when I recorded it. And it got done around like 3 o'clock my time. And currently right now it's 8. So it has been quite a little while. So yeah, a little bit of a gap between my like initial reaction and redirect. Usually the redirects happen immediately after watching the show, so that way I get like all my thoughts out at once. But a lot of stuff came up after my recording was finished, so I had to go do that. But regardless, we're back. So, oh my gosh, where to start? Where to start? So, Henri, let's start with that. So up until now, she seemed to be like this kind of background, or not background character. I mean, she's the main character, but like kind of, laying low kind of character who doesn't really talk very much, and hasn't really, in our eyes, I guess, really hasn't broken out of her shell to the main characters at least. So up until now, that was the case, and then all of a sudden, after this whole thing with the slasher and everything, and her basically controlling a ton of freaking people like everywhere, basically effectively stabbing them so that way the spirit, I think it's called Psycha. Is that how I pronounced it correctly? Psycha? Yeah. So Psycha kind of, I guess, just infects them so that way the wielder, in a way mother, can control the children who effectively were stabbed. So the original slasher that we've met up with, the girl, the red eye girl, whatever, that was like all gung ho about the teacher. She happened to be also the detective's daughter, as well as the one who was moved from, or yeah, took away from the school. I guess the teacher moved her away, had her transfer schools, kind of thing. But all these stories are so intertwined, which is hilarious. It's awesome. It's so fun to dissect and figure out who knows who and all that kind of stuff. So fun. So yeah, so she up until now has kind of been mentioned here and there about I think when we first met the teacher, they said something about her. I think probably not. I don't think actually. I think they just mentioned there was another student or something like that that he was involved with or something like that. Rumor has it, sort of deal. They were saying, rumor has it there was another girl he was involved with, which why one of the main characters, Masaomi, why he was talking about, he brought it up saying that why he was so in a way defensive towards Henri, because when they first saw Henri and the teacher kind of together, he showed up and was bad touch, whatever, sexual harassment or something like that, whatever he was saying when he first walked up. But yeah, so it was brought up back then, and then we never really heard anything about it until these episodes. These episodes brought it up again, where they talked about the girl again because the teacher was hit in a way next to Henri, messing with her again, and then another instance with the detective guy, the writer. I guess he's not a detective. He's a writer, who's like snooping in for stories and everything. So he came about and then said that his kid was. I can't remember the whole story on because like it was only until like halfway through that conversation where I actually legitimately started paying attention because like at first it was acting like he was like telling his like kind of big backstory, so I was kind of like half paying attention. I was like, oh, that's cool, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it kind of in my mind, I'm like, wait a second, and he's talking about this girl who happens to probably be the slasher, or something like that. Because when the slasher walked up to Henri's room and like walked in there and like sat down and she said her name, I'm just like, oh my god, it's the girl, like it's the daughter. I didn't find out until I think soon after, or before, or soon before that, like that was the girl that was like sent, like the teacher sent away, that the teacher was involved with. So like all these stories kind of like interconnecting on this one girl. But anyways, so she happened to be the mother to this kind of like in a way mind control sort of something like it's definitely mind control. I'm trying to figure out the proper term to describe it, but it's effectively like consuming them to the point where they have to obey the wielder, in this case the girl, until I don't know if there is an until. I think they're just like forever in her control. Anyways, that was until Henri took care of it, and then now Henri has control of all of those people. Anyways, going back, so the girl decided to go to Henri's house and everything because she was tipped off or no, sorry, she wasn't tipped off. It was the teacher who was tipped off on where Henri was. The slasher was just happened to be there, I guess, at that same time. But happy stance coincidence, or whatever you want to call it, that they were both there at the same time, because like the girl is very fond of the teacher. So when he showed up, he expected Henri to be there and realized it was the girl instead, and she just like flipped out and started running. So she ran off after him and brought her goons in to deal with Henri, which we never actually got to see what she did. But seeing how she's the true owner, or the true wielder of Saika, the actual katana blade, I can kind of guess on what happened. There's probably a pile of dead bodies, or something, or maybe I'm thinking maybe she gained control of them. Probably, I don't think she would kill them. I would think she would just kind of like in a way like poke them or whatever in order for Saika to get into them, and then she controls them, kind of thing, because they're already controlled. So under her spell, it's probably a lot better. Because Henri, there's two differences. So we figured out later that Henri has the original Saika, and everything. Yeah, they usually don't kill. That's right. So yeah, Henri has the original sword, and everyone else who has a blade like Saika is like a child blade, or something like that. Like that, it's either made from the blade, or I'm not sure exactly how it works. Maybe there's like a piece of the blade that kind of like chips off, and they kind of whatever, use it as a dagger or something like that. But the girl had a dagger form of the original Saika, and Henri had the Saika blade. So yeah, so she ultimately like became the mother of both the girl and all of the people that she controlled, with a single like poke, whatever. It was actually pretty interesting. So the girl, I guess, drowned out Saika's will just by like her mind and everything. Her will outweighed anything Saika like could do or whatever, I'm guessing, and Saika couldn't control, or couldn't get like full control, I'm guessing, over her mind, because like she was like so like mentally like locked in on the teacher, and everything. So I think that's how they explained it, like how like she wasn't that's why she wasn't in control fully, or Psycho wasn't in control fully, was because she was so like hell bent kind of thing, so like passionate and everything like that. So, um, also I can also see that being the case because that wasn't the full Psycho. It was like a piece of the blade. So not much like willpower in the blade basically. Anyways, so Henri shows up with the. I love how she dodged it too. She literally just put her arm up, blocked it with the blade, and it just like it stopped the blade instantly. And then she pulled it out of her sleeve, which I'm still not sure exactly how she did. I'm calling some kind of magic mumbo jumbo happening there, because that katana was like in her forearm, like section of her sleeve, and she just pulled it out like into like the whole blade, just with the front sleeve or whatever. Sorry, I'm hiccuping too. So that was pretty fun to see her block the blade and then just like take it out slowly and then reveal she's the real like wielder of Saika. But yeah, so apparently her dad was a artifact salesman, dealer, something like that. And he lost his temper one night and started to literally go mad. Versing his family and everything, both Henri and Henri's mom. And I don't know exactly how. I didn't really show it really, but the mom, I'm assuming, grabbed one of the artifacts that the dad was supposed to sell off for, whatever family heirloom. I'm not sure, but she grabbed the blade and Seka took control and killed the dad in love, basically, and then the mom killed herself for love as well. She was the original slasher in this like generation, I guess, if you call it the generation. Then Henri took up the post basically once her parents died. We're not sure how it worked after that, because all we know is like that we know that story, like her mom and dad dying. We know the story that the cops said, because the cops said it was a burglary gone wrong, or whatever, however they did ever describe it, but effectively the parents died during a burglary. She was left alive, and then later on she's just like at school. That's like all we know about her past right now. So and now we know she's the wielder of Psycho and everything. So I would want to know how she's hidden the blade so long, like without. I'm assuming it's always on her or nearby her, kind of thing. Much like the sleeve thing, just having the blade in the sleeve constantly, using hardcore freaking magic or something like they conceal the blade in the sleeve. But anyway, so I would like to know like how she became or was able to do that for so long or whatever. But yeah, so she is apparently void of emotion or void of love, I guess. So that's why she's able to be in full control of Saika and not have Saika control her. Much in the way that the girl did. The girl was, I guess the girl was kind of like twisted to the blade and made her do what she did, kind of thing. But Henri isn't like that. So when the blade talked to her, she didn't feel anything. It wasn't like controlling her or wasn't anything. She was in control of the blade itself, to some degree, I'm sure. I'm sure she's being controlled or is in control of Saika's gifts and all kind of stuff, or power or whatever, since she acquired it when she was a little kid. But it was pretty cool how she like in a way like poked the girl to like hear the voice of Saika and like what it's saying, kind of thing. And I think it was pretty much mirroring her Henri's emotions in her dreams. I think that was, or maybe it was like this hints of Henri's dreams in the voice of what the blade was talking about. But a lot of stuff that the one girl was talking about in the chat room, which I totally call the chat room. The chat room was It was the main character, Mikado, and then it was the info broker and Celty. It was the three main people in that chat room, and it's like, oh my gosh, like going back like to episode one or whatever, like those three characters have always been talking in that chat room, and then up until these episodes are like it's been confirmed like those were the three characters. I knew for a fact three of those, or at least one or two of those characters that we've seen in the chat room, were going to be main characters. Because I had a theory back in the first episode, I believe, or the first set of episodes. I was saying most of the main characters, if not all of them, are part of dollars. That's pretty much true to like 90% of them. There's there's a bunch like Seiji and Simon and Masomi that we know now, that aren't part of dollars, but the rest of them are pretty much part of dollars. I'm not sure about Shinra. I don't think Shinra ever joined them, but like the rest did. Like whether they wanted to or just like do it like online or whatever. But yeah, so it was really cool to get confirmation that like my theory on the colors of the chat, like there was different colored chat, like people like with different colors and stuff. Um, and every time we've seen them read the chat messages in those messages, it was always read by the narrator of that episode. So the episode of that or the narrator of the episode would read out all the messages in the chat room. So we can never pin down like who's who. Um, which I absolutely love because then it makes that like heightened like mystery of like like who are these people and like all this kind of stuff. And then I just that like kind of in a way like bomb drop. Like you can also see that in Celty's messages when she's talking to the group and when it's confirmed Celty. She's actually going like, "Is he okay?" or something like that. Like we've seen her like talk with him or whatever. So it's really funny to see now that we know who each character is. I would love to go back and reread those messages that they did in episode one and just see like how it evolved from there. Maybe one day we will have a chat member that's just some random dude that likes to chat. Yeah, yeah. Or like I was thinking like maybe one of the other main characters like all of a sudden having like Erica or something like that like come into the chat and just like talk with the guys or whatever, and no one knows who they are. Just like someone random, because like they're I did enjoy the opening. The opening was pretty cool. I like that kind of like moving image, sort of like one image sort of thing slowly being constructed, and the ending too was the ending that did that or the opening? Right, the opening had the highway, yeah, with the picture, right? Am I right on that? I can't remember now. I feel like it could be an ending. Um, I can't remember. I'll let you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Um, do you know that someone made a special cameo in the opening? Special cameo. I don't remember. All I remember is like a couple people. Oh, Sword Art! That's awesome. You guys can't really see that, but there's a Sword Art uh, picture. Basically, what's the other one? I don't recognize that one. Some other manga, I'm guessing. But yeah, when in the opening, when Erica and Walker were talking about, or in the opening, yeah, they were like just like doing book stuff, whatever, in the bathroom, and then Erica got flung forward or whatever and just knocked a bunch of stuff over. And one of the pictures was sort of online, so it's pretty fun. I like that. Um, there's 3 different anime manga shown. Okay. Oh yeah, Top Right is also something there too, but that could be also kind of like a magazine. Something, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the opening was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I think it's the one what I was mentioning before was the ending. I think with the them going down the highway with like a one image, almost like JoJo of like all the characters. Yeah, so it was the ending that I was thinking of. But yeah, the opening is good too. It reminded me a lot when I first started. Like the music was from the original opening. Because I've listened to it a couple times here and there with my redirect videos when I'm rendering them. The end song is the opening song, the first opening. So I kind of listen to that song once in a while while I'm editing, just to kind of listen to the song more often, kind of because a lot of times I only listen to an opening like once or twice in the entire like lifespan of like a series. So I'm kind of going towards the idea of like I want to listen to the songs more like on my off time or whatever, so that way I kind of have what you guys have, like re-watching the openings every episode and that kind of thing. So that way I'm not like not watching it more than like once kind of thing. None of the episodes had a second OP without a recap though. That's fine. The recap is, I like the recaps how they do it too, because it's like they continue the song while they're showing the recap, and then they like continue the opening, and then it's cut right to the episode. Like I like that, how like you can how they do that kind of thing. It's very cool. Yeah. So oh gosh, what is okay? So yeah. So I would love to go back and reread the chat messages in episode 1 about the members there. Just to see what like knowing who colors who, like going back and seeing how far back these the info broker Isaiah or Izia, sorry, how far back he started to twist the group in a way. Like I'm sure back then, but or before then I should say, but to see his little kind of like, you know, like helping Celti out or whatever, because he knows who everyone is, except Mikado. I don't think he knew Mikado back then, until he met him in the when he confirmed it at the meeting or whatever. I don't think he knew the main character and until then. But anyways, I know for a fact he probably knew who Celti was. He just hasn't said it yet, and I'm sure Celti doesn't know who Izia's screen name is or whatever. So okay, so answer me this. Which one of the members is Durarara? Because I remember for a fact the first episode or something like that, someone referred to somebody as Durarara. Like they said, "Oh, hey, it's you, it's Durarara," or whatever. Like that was their screen name in the actual text messages. If you're not sure about it, I can always go back to the first episode and watch that again, because they said when someone logged on, they said, "Oh, hey, it's Durarara," kind of thing. So whoever that is like is interesting to me, because I want to know if it's Celti or if it's Mikado or Mikado, whatever. Don't remember that. I don't know. I'm gonna go back and watch episode 1 again for those text things. I know for a fact someone said that. Someone said Durarara as a screen name. I know for a fact. I gotta go back and watch it. Anyways, Mikado is Tyro, Celti is Seton, and Isaiah is Kenra. Okay. Seton. I wonder why she chose that name. I don't know. Anyways, so it's revealed also that Masaomi is the leader, or was the leader, but is the leader of the Yellow Scarves. It's like it's a big deal. Like, yeah, he's part of. He's the. I don't know if they haven't said if he's like the original member, or he's the one who started it, or whatever. But he's, as of right now, as we've seen, he's the leader. He's kind of stepped away for a little while, and then he kind of came back. There was nothing really said of like how it all started or who was there first or whatever yet. Anyways, I'm sure we'll get into that as we get more into his storyline and everything. But effectively, it's bro versus bro. That it's getting pitted against by Isaiah. So, leader of the dollars, main user of Psycha, and the ex-leader of the Yellow Scarves. Yeah, quite the trio. That's for sure. I forgot about the user of Psycha. Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I guess also my theory on my first reaction about there being more myths and legends is actually coming to a fact because like Psycha wasn't like um, revealed as such. I guess maybe like during the first couple episodes we didn't hear anything else besides Celti because she was like the main focus for like the mystery kind of thing. But after we kind of knew about more about Celti, um, was when the slasher came into play and the slasher started doing stuff. But we didn't know about the slasher until later. Um, uh, well, now I should say. But it's very interesting that like uh, there's like other myths and legends and like mysteries and whatever and just like everything happening all at once. Um, which in a world where Celti, who is a myth herself, who is alive and like can do so much things, like so many like uh, sp- you know spectacular things like with her abilities and everything. There stands to reason if she's alive, then others will like be out and about kind of thing. So Seka being one of them, with Henri and everything, and this the slasher with her little dagger knife and all that kind of stuff. So seeing Shizuo be a badass and just take on the entire Psycha minion people at the plaza was freaking badass. Like, that was so cool. Like he himself is a myth, just like becoming like he's like the start of a legend, right? Like as time goes on, I'm guaranteeing you, people are going to start referring to him as a myth, or just like later on, like in a couple of years back, or like as time goes on, he just become like a legend, or like a myth in the distance. Um, but still kicking and still walking around doing stuff. Um, but yeah, so much is happening in these episodes. It's so cool. Um, I can't remember my favorite part. There was so many good parts in this show that was like cool, really cool, interesting plot twists. Like for instance, Masaomi being the leader of the Yellow Gang, never saw that coming. I truly thought he was going to join a gang for the first time that happened to be the Dollars. That was my kind of in my mind what was going to happen because he kept looking at the yellow scarves and all of them as like being like mad at them, or kind of like that was kind of like my intuition, like when I was seeing him. Um, but in a way, I mean, we're not sure what his feelings are yet, until he kind of explains it. Um, but both sides, the Dollars and the Yellow Scarves, both are seeing the slasher as being part of the opposite organization. So the Yellow Scarves think the Dollars were part of the slasher. The Dollars think it's the Yellow Scarves part who was the slasher that involved Henri, and everything. But in reality, Henri dealt with the slasher already, and she controls the slasher. Like she's the one in control now. So there's three factions going on right now, which is awesome. I freaking love it. And everyone is tied to it in some way or another, and it's phenomenal. Like the writing is so well done. Also, the fact that Celti went to the info broker Isaiah, um, and she was mere feet away from her head. Like her head was in the bookshelf that we saw when we went back to that location. Like we it was revealed that was where the head is, kind of thing. And then later on, we saw the head with the dad, Shinra's dad, which his dad is silly. Um, it's you can see a little bit of Shinra, like in the dad or whatever, or vice versa, whatever. The shower scene was like I called it immediately. Like once he was had like grin on his face, like he's gonna go see like Celti or whatever. Like I immediately was like, I bet it's the dad. Like like I was like I called it like immediately. Um, but I love how the dad always seems to be like super like like straightforward, like you would think most dads would be like telling it how it is kind of thing. But then, like for instance, Celti or like the Yellow Gang, or I guess Yellow Scarves weren't the ones that were robbing him, or whatever. It was like this three random guys who are not in a gang, just thugs really in the street. When they were communicating with the dad and everything, the dad was like, oh yeah, and like just kept going on like spouting up all this hype and everything, and then like he just walked up and just like grabbed his collar and like put him up, and he's like, Celty, help! Like he's like the moment um the the situation changes like to like a disadvantage or something like that towards him, he just immediately just calls for help, which is hilarious. Because he talks up all this trash and all that kind of stuff, and then just he can't back it up like one bit. Like if like going back with the talk with which Shinra and Celti and the dad at the table, the dad was saying like going about all this kind of stuff, like just like basically talking trash, and then Salty just like puts like a needle to his neck, and then he's like, okay, 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 like he's just like backing off like immediately. It's just so freaking funny. But yeah, so the dad was the one who took Salty's head to begin with, who then lured Salty to the states, or whatever the wherever they are now, and was the one who like uh, brought her along, kind of thing. I bet you it's the container that the head is in that is blocking Celti's memories. I'm assuming once they open that container, or whatever, or if she's in close proximity to it when they open the container, I'm assuming that's when she's gonna start remembering things, or feeling where her head is, and just like know like where it is, kind of thing. But right now the container is like blocking everything about it, so she can't connect to it, she can't feel it, she can't sense it, she can't whatever. It's blocked from her. It's almost like a gate, just like being shut, and you can't see or hear or feel the her head, basically. So I feel like if they probably open it, or twist it open, or whatever, open it. I feel like we're gonna see a scene where Stealthy's all of a sudden like her ears perk up in a way, like not literally, but or she just like you're just like what, like I sense something, kind of thing. So that's what I'm theorizing what might happen. It might not come true. That's what in my mind what I would like to happen. See like they open the case to like test the head or whatever. The dad or whoever, because the dad said that he was he was gonna be leading the experiments, or whatever, on the head, while everybody else was focused on Celty and her body, basically. So while I'm thinking in my mind, if the dad opens the container to like test the head, or do whatever, that's when Celty's gonna like instantly know where it is and just like go after it or something like that. But I don't know. She says in the show that she's not looking for her head anymore, but I feel like at some point she's got to. Like, she's got to go for her head. She's got to go look for it. Got to get it back, because it is her head. So, yeah. Oh gosh, what else? I saw a little bit more of Seiji and the girl, but ultimately, like, it's just more of the same. Like, they're both loving each other for the wrong reasons, or well, they're both loving each other because, like, okay, so she's loving him, but he doesn't love her back. He's loving her, but only because he's pretending it's Celty. So there's like a lot of weirdness happening there. But I mean, I guess they're still together to some degree. And I guess it's better than him actually having the head of Celty and doing stuff with the head, or whatever. Like, I guess it's better than that. And she's in it because she's in love with him, kind of thing, stalkerish kind of vibes, or whatever. But yeah, this show's awesome. I freaking love this show so much. It's so good. It reminds me like a ton of like how Baccano was laid out, like in the storyline and everything, and like how everything intertwined to the end, or throughout, I guess. But at the end you can really see like where everything just came to come together. Um, and so seeing how this show is made by the same pair of people, I can definitely 100% see that in this show. Like all these kind of, you know, threads going between each character as they're like doing stuff around the show, and the connections between them, and you know like who's talking to who and who's doing what and who's going where, and the info broker Isaiah is basically in the middle of like everything. He knows everyone and is slowly starting a war to, I'm guessing, test Salty or something. The dad has like in a way like in cahoots with him to test Salty in some way or look after Salty or you know whatever. So I don't know. It's gonna be freaking awesome to see what happens next. We got to see the other guy from Russia Sushi. We did. And that came out of nowhere because I don't think they've ever said that he had a partner or some kind of worker that worked for him. It was always just him. It was just Simon. So that was kind of weird. All of a sudden, just like a guy showing up and talking to the characters or whatever. Okay, I guess I just didn't notice them say anything about it. I think we've heard Simon like yell in the back, like, "Hey, we need more of this," or you know, something like that. So I think that was maybe when they mentioned him, or maybe he said a name there. I'm not sure. But it stands to reason. Yes, he's not the only one because he's in a restaurant or whatever like that. So he wants to have like a chef and you know him a server or you know whatever the face of the restaurant. So that's pretty cool that we're seeing new characters that have been around since the beginning, but we just haven't really seen them until now, kind of thing. Because we saw Simon in the first episode, I think, and his restaurant and everything. But yeah, super freaking fun show. I still love the show. It's incredible what they're doing with it. Is there anything else that I need to talk about trying that I missed? I feel like that's everything, but again, Subaru got his ride pimped. Oh yeah, yeah. The freaking door, freaking Shizuo. He he's like, I'm gonna borrow your door, and he just ripped it off, and then just like bull rushed the reporter guy against the wall, effectively knocking him out. But yeah, and then Walker and Erica, I guess maybe it was just Walker. I can't remember who was like in charge of it. I think it was Walker. So they got a new door and they colored it or you know whatever, painted it, whatever, to I guess like an anime manga that him and Erica read or something like that. Like, cause they were talking about it like in the car on the way there when it was like revealed to like you know what the door is back kind of thing. But I was gonna say something else. There was something else. Crap. Erica. Oh yeah. So the reporter guy, seeing how he was in a way infected or whatever by Psycha, I wonder if that's still valid. Obviously, there's got to be some limitation to it, I would think. Like, it can only control for a certain amount of time, and maybe because he was knocked out, the control's lifted. But I feel like the control could still be there, and Psycho just has to kind of, like, trigger it to, like, awaken again. So that's going to be interesting. Like I said, there's like those three factions going on at one time. Now, like after these episodes, we now know there's a third faction. Before it was the yellow scarves and the dollars and everything, and I guess the blue squares, but we haven't seen them at all. I don't think. So, yeah. Anyways, my voice is starting to go out, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this. It's already been like 40 minutes, so yeah, this is a great episodes. Great episodes. Next week we have 3 more. 18, 19, and 20. So stay tuned for that and everything next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week for some more Durarara. Take care, everybody.
裏切りの夕焼け厄介に絡みつく汗を切り裂くようにしてマシン けぶ